Wouldn't that be fun, guys? Tell me that'd be fun. And look, if NASCAR is listening and wants to do that, you can have that for free. If you just get me a free ticket to go see it, I won't complain. You can have that idea for free. You're welcome.
Welcome back to Turn 4, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Once again, I'm Nina, here with Justin, and this week we're talking about all things Watkins Glen. SVG putting on a clinic, basically. Kaden Honeycutt just crushing the weekend in general, and enough mud and chaos to keep things interesting. But first, Justin, I have some ideas about how we get an answer from Chase Elliott on that Pokemon card. You ready?
Yeah, what do you got?
Number 1, borrow a child.
We borrow a child. Like the bad guy from Titanic. I have a child?
Yeah. We steal someone's child. No, I'm kidding. We take your niece once she's old enough to a race. We give her another Diglett Pokemon card. We send her over to Chase Elliott to get an autograph. Have her give him the Pokemon card, and we see what his reaction is. Either it's, what is this?
Yeah.
Or, oh, hey, I actually got one of these and I was a kid.
From a fan once before. And then I'm going to be like, oh my God, I know just the one too. I have a perfect 10 grade mint condition.
That's right. You have a graded Diglett.
I have a graded Diglett that's a 10. It's perfect.
That's one option. Option number 2 is not entirely in our control, but if Chase Elliott ever comes on to DBC as a guest host, we call in.
Reaction theater. We do the reaction theater.
And we say, Chase Elliott, where's the Pokemon card, my friend?
Chase Elliott would never go on that show, would he?
I don't know. I mean, hey, Blaney does it all the time.
He's too cool for that.
I don't think he's too cool for that.
He's too cool for that.
He'd do it. They could
if
get
he
him.
does, though, that's a great idea. Because I think they announce who their guest is going to be. I never see it.
Yeah.
I never see who
we'd
it
have
is.
to I'm going to have to start following them on
to follow it. Because if he
Twitter,
ever comes on, that'd be perfect. We call in the reaction theater. We tell that story.
Yeah.
Instant, dude.
And if you don't know what story we're talking about, watch last week's episode. It was last week's episode, right? Yeah.
The Diglett.
But anyway, back on to Watkins Glen. We had some good racing this weekend, I thought.
Yeah, personally, I really enjoyed all the races. I know there's some mixed feelings, but I still think Watkins Glen is the best road course in America. I think it's great. I think it's a great road course. I think it produces solid racing. There were parts of the Cup race that were meh. But it really wasn't about that this week, was it? It was more about watching someone really good at what they do, doing the thing that they do really well. It wasn't, because like I'm saying, the racing really wasn't there. This dude put on a masterclass. It was a clinic. So I guess you have to ask yourself as a race fan, do you appreciate good racing or do you appreciate good race car drivers?
I think
is that a question that you can ask?
Race car drivers, though, because think about your favorite races from back in the day. The times when everyone talks about where NASCAR was great, right?
Yeah. In
a lot of ways, you were tuning in to watch one or two drivers just whoop ass and compete against each other.
Right, because that's all.
And that was interesting.
Because to be fair, back in the day, there were only a handful of drivers that could win on any given Sunday anyway. I mean, it was Jeff Gordon, it was Dale Earnhardt, it was Jimmy Johnson's, it was Kevin Harvick's, Rusty Wallace's, Kyle Busch. I would say now it feels like, I could be wrong, but it feels like there are more drivers that can win races than used to be.
Well, Kurt Busch even mentioned it on DBC this week. He said something about how he wishes that they didn't share as much data as they do, because the fact that they share so much data just brings, it levels the playing field for everyone, which would be okay if you could do something different with the cars, but you also can't do anything different with the cars, which also levels the playing field for everyone. So everyone has the same data. has the same cars. It does come down to how the drivers react, but it's also mostly strategy.
Mhm.
Like pit strategy can
Yeah.
really make or break a race.
That track
So,
position's key.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like I love Watkins Glen because I think it's a fun track and I like the way that
I
people
think
can
it's great
drive on
too.
it. And I think we've seen some of the better, at least ends to races at that track,
Yeah,
just in general, since
yeah,
I've been
there's
watching.
yeah, there's tons that come to mind for me as well. I think about Kurt Busch and Robbie Gordon. I think about Marcus Ambrose, Brad Keselowski. Just recently, Chris Buescher and SVG. Chase Elliott has some good ones there. So yeah, like there's tons of really memorable Watkins Glen races. I think Watkins Glen. Well, I don't think Watkins Glen is my favorite road course that NASCAR runs on. I like it much better
Yeah,
than Infineon. I like it a hell of a lot more than Coda. Um, you know, Chicago, we never really got to see. Yeah,
true.
it'd be interesting to see what San Diego's like. But Watkins Glen to me is the best road course that NASCAR runs on. Maybe one of my favorites in the country as far as road courses is concerned in this country. I think Watkins Glen's up there, dude. I used to love the
And
6 hours of the Glen.
that's really only from what we're seeing on TV, which this weekend apparently wasn't a lot because we saw a shit ton of things on social media that we did
Yes.
not see in the Fox broadcast for the Cup race.
Well, it's kind of like, you and I, you know what it's like. You and I, we gone to the Roval, and I've gone
Sure.
to the Roval for several years, and we started going together. Um, and we would always talk about on the ride home how much was going on at that track and how fun it was to watch racing at the Roval. Because there's
Yeah.
always some bullshit going on somewhere. Somebody's doing something stupid somewhere. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
can,
Last year alone, we saw Joey Logano push two cars together, like he kind of slammed them like somebody would
right,
do
he
with
just,
like two people's heads just so he could go right
yes,
by them.
just boom.
We saw Denny Hamlin and a couple other people back across the finish line. I mean, there was some crazy stuff going on in that
But the
race.
majority of people would say that the Roval last year was a snooze because SVG won it by a mile.
A minute and a half.
And then, yeah, sure. Like when you think about the overall race last year, when I think about my memories from being at the race last year, it's not the win. The win was settled when they threw the green flag.
Sure.
But I remember all the other little bullshit that was going on that I kind of laugh at when I think about, did you see that? Did you see this guy? Like, there's always something going on. And I feel like that's road course racing, but apparently they can't capture it. And maybe the fans who were at Watkins Glen maybe remember things like that. They were like, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this? But the overall story on television doesn't do it justice. And I feel like that was the Roval for me. Maybe Watkins Glen is similar. Maybe that's just a road course racing thing because they're not in this oval. They get spread out. They're on different parts of this property.
Yeah. I think if
Maybe.
anything, what made Watkins Glen this exciting this weekend, at least, actually in both races, in both O'Reilly and the Cup race, was the fact that Zilich at one point made a mistake or got out mid-pack. I can't remember exactly what happened to him. SVG went into pit at an odd time compared to everybody else.
He stayed out.
And he stayed out.
He stayed out on that I think it was that Joey Logano caution where he lost his tire. Man, Joey Logano, dude. We'll talk about that, I guess, later. But yeah, so Joey Logano had that tire go just off into nowhere, and everybody else came into pit behind him, and he stayed out.
That's right. He had older tires.
So he had to go like hell at the restart to try to build distance, and then he came into the pit under green. And I remember when that happened, I remember thinking, I don't know if I like that strategy because no one's been able to pass all day, and he's going to be so far back. I was sitting there doing the math in my head, and I'm not that good at math, but I did work out that he was going to be somewhere in the 20s. And he came out 27th, 25th?
Fourth.
Something like that.
It was 24th.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I like the strategy. I don't know if it'll work. Can he do it? Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was getting to say. Like, I think the only thing that made both races exciting was that in both situations, we watched Zilich and SVG come from the middle of the pack to the front. And that's what made it interesting when
exciting.
watching it on TV, where there was probably a bunch of other shit going on.
Yeah.
There clearly was, because Bubba and Bell got into it after the race. Apparently, Bubba had something else happen with John Hunter Nemechek or something on track.
Nemechek just sent his ass.
The 66 ran into Catherine Legg. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff happening that was not shown on TV.
My man, Josh Berry, got turned by the 77, though I will say he probably deserved that. Because he did run into the 77 and then just, I don't think he was clear and just ran over the 77, and the 77 turned him. The last person I'd want to screw with is probably Carson Hocevar. Just going to say.
That's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice to pick on someone. But yeah, there was a lot going on. Cody Ware busted his ass. Between turns
apparently
6
really
and 7.
badly. Broke the wall.
Broke the wall, yeah. Tore that car all to pieces. If you see the onboard, I don't know if you've seen the onboard yet, but the onboard camera shot, which is how I had to watch most of these. The onboard camera shot, he hits that thing hard. That should have been a caution.
But there were a ton of times yesterday that there should have been a caution. But
I'm just kind of glad they didn't throw one. The only reason why I'm kind of glad they didn't throw one is because that would have, SVG was still going to win the race, but that story of him driving through there under green flag would have been marred just a little bit.
True, but like Cody Ware in particular, you didn't know what had happened to him in that car. Like, yeah, he eventually drove away from it, but that was a really big hit, and
it was a hard hit. They
just let everything keep happening. I don't know. They're very inconsistent with their cautions, which has always been a problem, continues to be a problem. Mm-hmm. But that seemed like a weird one to me to ignore.
Did you catch Kurt Busch on DBC talking about this very subject? And he was saying how either there are like black box type things in these race cars that can feed data about impacts, and that maybe these, and I'm sure the technology is there. This is 2026. But maybe these black boxes, if they hit a certain G, should trigger a caution automatically because of the G-force sustained to the driver. Do you like that idea?
I do like that idea.
I like that idea too.
Consistent, at least.
Yeah, because then it's not up to NASCAR to hit the caution button. If a driver sustains a 15G impact, or something like that, then a caution would just naturally trigger, because they'd be like, damn, that driver just hit the wall at 15 to 20 Gs. That dude's going to need a moment. Let's go check on him. Maybe that's what they should do. Something like that. And that would help call balls and strikes.
Yeah. I don't know. It is a good idea. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. But why don't we go back in our usual order? So we didn't watch the truck race, but congrats to Kaden Honeycutt, because he crushed that. He crushed the ARCA race, and then he went and crushed 2 Cars Tour races in a row.
Yeah, he had a hell of a weekend. He was just winning everything. He should have bought a lottery ticket. And won that too. He's quite something. I started following Kaden Honeycutt in the iRacing days. He would do iRacing online, and I started following him then when I was big into the iRacing community. And then next thing you know, he's in the truck series, and he's just steadily gone about his business of putting finishes together. He's in a very good ride. He's in the 11. That's a solid truck from last year that Corey Heim was driving. So yeah, he's just kind of quietly gone about building himself quite a race career, and he had a hell of a weekend winning like you said, he won the ARCA race, he won the truck race, and then he went and won 2 of those Cars Tour races. So wow, Kaden Honeycutt, remember that name, folks, and be curious to see how far his race career goes. Clearly making headlines and becoming in a good way. So congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we obviously didn't see it, but apparently he also got some kind of penalty and got mired back in traffic that he had to drive through. I guess that was just the theme of the weekend.
Evidently,
but yeah, I thought it was cool to see on DBC. Kurt Busch gave him a little fist bump for the
that.
heads
Yeah.
up driving on that one and not losing his cool.
Yeah, evidently the problem in the truck race was that folks were jumping the start. I did hear during the O'Reilly race that NASCAR recognized this problem. A lot of teams were saying they couldn't see the restart zone well, and the spotters couldn't see the restart zone well either from where they were positioned. So I think
Yeah.
before the O'Reilly race, they repainted those lines, trying to make them bolder and stand out more because it was such a problem during the truck race, because they got Gio Ruggiero for it, and they got Chastain for it, and they got Kaden Honeycutt for it. So
Yeah. Interesting. The O'Reilly race, on the other hand, we didn't see a lot of that. It was apparently the coldest Watkins Glen race that the O'Reilly crew has ever run. Didn't seem to mess with them too much, though. We had Brent Cruz win stage 1, Connor Zilic win stage 2, and then Connor Zilic pass Jesse Love in the final lap and turn to win.
that was cool.
That was really cool. He too had to come up through traffic, and he was gaining like a second a lap or something
It was
on
fun to watch.
everyone else,
Yeah, it was really fun to watch.
and screwed up his car in a similar
Yeah.
fashion to Sheldon Creed earlier in the day, who just
Man,
I've never seen a car do that in the mud.
Yeah, he launched that car. He had already had trouble that day. He crashed. I think it was in practice. It was real slick, and he lost control and put it in the fence, and they had to repair the car. And so the car that he was out there had already gotten some damage. And then the poor thing he tried to fly back home early, soared through the air, tore that piece of sheet metal that they put on to replace the one that he damaged. He tore that off, so there goes that one. So yeah, he was having a rough Watkins Glen. I know that had to have hurt when he landed.
Yeah, that looked pretty bad.
That looked pretty rough. But yeah, Connor Zilic, that was fun watching him come through the field, and then he damaged his splitter as well, and it was kind of a bummer because he was coming with such a head of steam, and then he runs over the curb, hits the mud. The mud was the problem because it had rained the night before and had just muddied everything. I heard a lot of campers also had gotten stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
So the mud was a bit of an issue, but Zilic breaks his splitter, and you think, man, he's done. He's done for. He can't make the corner. The car is going to be tighter. It's not going to steer as well. And he adapts to how the car is running and still chases down Jesse Love. I don't know what you think, but I think if Jesse Love doesn't blow the corner, maybe Zilic doesn't win.
Yeah, maybe.
If he tiptoes through there,
because Zilic isn't going to wreck his best friend.
You would think not.
So,
but Mike Skinner one time did say he'd wreck his mother to win a race. It's like, how dedicated are you?
That's true. I don't think Zilic would do it, though, and I think Jesse Love just got in his own head a little bit, which is kind of what everybody was saying this week. And gosh, I mean, that interview after the race, you think he lost the championship or something. I mean, I've never seen a person be so hard on themselves after a single race.
Makes you wonder. I came away from it wondering what is going on. Like, there's clearly more to that than what we saw, because that didn't seem like a viable reaction to just losing a race at Watkins Glen. So it's like, okay, what in here is going on? Like, he was very vulnerable in that moment, and it was clearly very upset.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because he feels like he needs to start being better than Connor Zilic. Maybe he looks at Connor Zilic as the bar at which he wants to achieve. Because, I was telling you, Jesse Love won the championship last year. But nobody really acknowledges that or talks about that. They talk about Connor Zilic winning 10 races, and I think if you were to poll most people, they'd be like, yeah, Connor Zilic won the championship last year. Oh, wait, no, he didn't. Trick question, it was Jesse Love. It's like saying, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? It's not Jason Voorhees. Most people get that wrong. I think if you did that, they would have the same wrong answer about who won the championship last year.
Yeah. It does seem like he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to be better, and maybe he's just mad at himself for blowing that final corner and not being more dialed in and like letting his mind kind of get away
He
from him at
just,
that moment.
he had to have felt like, I feel Connor Zilic back there. I know he's
Yeah.
there. I know he's on me. And maybe he botches the corner because he's thinking too hard about it. But if he like really backs up the corner and tiptoes through there, I don't know if Zilic beats him back to the line. It could have been an exciting finish. They could have been door to door banging each other, smoking tires and all that good stuff, and it would have been a hell of a finish. But I think Jesse Love wins.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
We'll
we'll
never
get
know.
to see it next year.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a rematch. We'll get a rematch next year. That'd be fun.
The Cup race, not a surprise who won the Cup race. We had Chastain won the first stage, and then I think that's pretty much all we heard from him. And Team Penske, who followed him, winning the first stage, just all three of them.
Yep. They
then
fell
we
apart
got
after that.
SVG stage 2, SVG win. Cool. We've talked about some of the cool facts from that race, but SVG was 29 seconds behind when he came out in 24th. And in 18 laps, he'd made it back to first place.
Made a believer out of me. Like I was saying, when it first happened, I was like, when he didn't pit, I said, "Oh no, oh no!" I think SVG's crew chief just screwed him.
Yeah,
and maybe they were bored and they wanted to do that on purpose to see if he could just go through the field to make it more exciting. I don't know. Maybe they were screwing with us, but I was like, I don't think he can do it. 29 seconds under green. People are going to be holding him up. It's tough to pass. I was thinking all these things. I was like, I don't think he can do it. But then you're watching it on television and you're looking at the scoreboard and you're like, he's 22nd. He's 19th. He's 16th. I nudged you. I said, look, Nina, he's 12th. He's 8th. He's in the camera shot. Here he comes. And then just flies by everybody. And he had a bit of an advantage because everyone out there was basically trying to save gas to make it to the end. But he's like, he's got tons of gas. He can go all night if he wants to. He can just, he's flying by them. Dude's incredible.
I was incredible. I was impressed by Zilic in that race too, though.
Yes.
He ended up at one point, I think it was stage 2. He got behind SVG and he hung with SVG, which we'd seen.
Michael McDowell,
thank you.
We'd
seen Michael McDowell get behind SVG, and he could not hang on to it. He followed him, but at increasingly slower paces.
The distance got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
It did. Yeah. Zilic was the only one that seemed to hang on.
Yeah, the margin. Yeah, the margin between the two didn't change as much as it did with McDowell. But McDowell was good. He also drove through the field just like SVG. But it was incredible to see, because I've never seen anything like that before, where he drove 29 seconds through the field and then additionally also won the race by 8 seconds. Something like that. That was crazy. It reminds me of, and this wasn't on a road course, but it kind of has the same story of Bill Elliott coming back from a multiple lap down deficit at Talladega to win. Just you see an incredible performance from a driver weaving in and out of traffic and just doing crazy things. I mean, SVG is incredible, and he's probably one of the greatest. He is the greatest road course racer NASCAR has ever had in the field. I feel confident saying that.
Because apparently you're not Jordan Bianchi.
Jordan Bianchi. I think he's doing it on purpose. He really feels like Jeff Gordon is this great road course racer, which he was. I mean, he won 9 of them. He won 9 road course races, but he was saying that like the win percentage, I was trying to follow him. I was screaming at him all the way down the road, listening to it on the radio, but he was basically saying that like Jeff Gordon's run 47 road course races. He's won 9 of them. He's like, oh, he has a better win percentage. It's like, not really. Cause like, that's like 19-20%. like 9 out of 47. But SVG has won 7 out of 14, so that's 50%. So 50% of the road course races that SVG's been in, he's won. So that's just, I don't know. I don't know. He keeps moving the goalpost. Now he's saying that he has to win more races than Jeff Gordon on a road course, which if he wins the rest of the road course races this season, he will accomplish or tie, something like that. I think there's 2 more road courses this year, San Diego, Infineon. There's not one in the Chase. So, because they're not doing the Roval again.
Yeah.
So he has the potential to tie Jeff Gordon. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that SVG is the best. I mean, Jeff Gordon never came through the field 29 seconds behind to just continue to win by 8. I mean, that's nuts.
I mean, you're in good company because Kurt Busch was willing to say that he thought that SVG was the best road course racer.
Everybody. Jordan Bianchi's literally the only one who's not.
Yeah.
I think he likes to troll. I think he's a troll. I think he does it on purpose to get people like me to sweat a little. And it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, SVG's the greatest. And I'll take it a step further. So you know how we hear that Kyle Larson's the best driver in the world? I think that if SVG is able to win a couple of oval races, SVG might be the best driver in the world. And that's over Max Verstappen, and that's over Kyle Larson. And the reason why I say that is because of the change in disciplines. Because SVG is able to run V8 supercars, have success, comes over to another discipline, has success. Now, if he's able to win on the ovals, because he hasn't won an oval race, he runs the road course races, but we all know that those drivers are not as good at it. Now, if he's able to beat the Denny Hamlins of the world on the oval, he may be the best.
Certainly a contender.
Yeah.
We have the All-Star race coming up next weekend at Dover. Any thoughts on that one? That seemed to be the vibe this week from everyone.
I don't want to do an All-Star race. I don't care about the All-Star race. It doesn't seem as cool as it used to when they did it at Charlotte, and it was fun, and it didn't suck, and it made sense. Like, I remember watching the All-Star. I've been to the All-Star race in person, and I had a great time. I remember one All-Star race, my favorite All-Star race was when it had rained, and we sat around all night waiting for this damn thing to start, and then they don't get the track dry enough or whatever happened, but they go barreling in the turn, and every car wrecked. Every car wrecked. And they allowed, because every car wrecked, they allowed all the drivers to pull up backup cars and go again because every car wrecked. And it was a great race. I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. ended up winning that one. I don't care about the All-Star. I don't think we need an All-Star race. We don't need an All-Star race. We don't. And especially not at Dover. Dover hasn't been exciting to me in a long time. Dover. Milk toast. I don't like Dover.
Is there a place you would like to see an All-Star race?
Do what?
Is there a place you would like to see an All-Star race or a format of All-Star race that you think would be better than what they do now?
I like the heat races. So for me, a perfect All-Star race would be you take your top 20 in current points. You have 2 heat races. You take 10 in each, and you have them race. And then the top 5 finishers of both race, and it's just a 10-car field for the ultimate prize. Now, where you do that shit, I don't know. I would think a short track would be fun if short track racing was good again. I think that'd be fun. I think if they had a Friday night short track racing feel, like if you were to go to Wake County and you see heat races and you see that, I think that would be fun. I also thought this was my idea for an all-star race once. I get to pitch this finally. I've never pitched this to anybody. Y'all are getting an exclusive. So my idea for an all-star race was I really love sports car racing. I love sports car racing. And I love multi-class racing. I was thinking it would be cool to take the top 10 of each division, Cup Series, O'Reilly Series, Truck Series, maybe the top 20 and do heat races too. But you end up with 10 Cup cars, 10 O'Reilly cars, 10 trucks. So that's a 30 car field. And then they race for multi-class championships. So you would have the best in show, right? You'd have the overall winner would be the Cup, and then theoretically the O'Reilly and the trucks would race it out. But because those cars are kind of similar anyway, I think it would be pretty interesting racing, seeing Cup guys lap trucks and O'Reilly and truck cars mixing it up. I just think that would be fun to watch, and you could do that at Charlotte. That would be my ideal all-star race, is you take, and then it shines a light on the stars in those respective things, because the truck guys are now going to be out there on the track with Cup cars.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a winner in truck, there's going to be a winner in O'Reilly, and there's going to be a winner in Cup. What a showcase of each of your divisions. That, to me, is an all-star race. Not this bullshit we're going to see at Dover. So I mean, that would be fun. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun, guys? Tell me that'd be fun. And look, if NASCAR is listening and wants to do that, you can have that for free. I don't even want a finder's fee. You can just do that, because I just want a free ticket to see it. If you just get me a free ticket to go see it, I won't complain. You can have that idea for free. You're welcome.
I think we should try it. All right. Well, anything else we want to cover this week?
No, I think we got about got it. I guess we'll wait and see how the All-Star race is going to be at Dover. Maybe it saves Dover, because Dover is one of those that it is in this position because no one wants to see a 400-mile race there.
Yeah.
So now they're in this position. I think the the O'Reilly race could be good. The O'Reilly race has been the better race each and every week. So looking forward to that. I get excited about the O'Reilly race. But yeah, I think we'll just see how this All-Star race goes, and that should that about do it.
All right. Well, if you have your own ideas for your perfect all-star race, by all means, leave them in the comments. New episodes of Turn 4 come out every Wednesday at 6 a.m. on YouTube Music, and Spotify. And as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please like or subscribe. And we will see you next time.
All right. Take it easy.